Hello, YouTube Lamb, and welcome to the Get In and Get Out Nintendo Podcast, Episode 6. I am one of your hosts, Dantes, with a motherfucker huge hungover, but I'm here for you, my friends. And joining me, like always, the man with the coolest cap, Caleones. How you doing, Caleones?
Hey, how you doing, Dantes? How you doing, everybody? And yeah, we got a show full of news. Great week, E3, Nintendo Spotlight, and a lot to touch. But go ahead and take it over, Dantes.
Jam-packed, my friend, but let's do our rigmarole, shall we? Again, I want to welcome everybody to the Get In, Get Out Nintendo Podcast, Episode 6, right here at the Forcing Unison Gaming channel. Remember to subscribe, like, and comment so you can make these two crazy motherfuckers happy. Also, remember to go to our Facebook page at Forcing Unison Gaming. And also, remember to give some love to my boy Caleones and go to chiguerosnews.com. And one final reminder is that you can get this podcast at SoundCloud. With all that said and done, let's start with our favorite segment, which is Reggie's News Corner. Is your body ready, Caleones?
My body's ready.
My body's ready. Go ahead, my friend. Take it away.
Yeah, and I know you're so excited that you wanted to, talk about your news again. But so I really appreciate that.
Giving you the plug for sure.
Yeah, I mean anything we can get, but yeah. Okay, so we're ready news corner. We have, like I said, a really big week. We had E3, Nintendo dropping some bombs. We have a couple of games that came out, during the week as well, and a couple of news, to touch upon. So, we're gonna cover it later in the segment, but we did have, Rocket League, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Kirby. They talked about Pokken Tournament and a new Pokemon game for the Switch. The big one and biggest one out of all, Metro Prime 4, Yoshi, Fire Emblem Warriors, Zelda, Breath of the Wild DLC, and the game of show, Super Mario Odyssey. Aside from that, we have a couple of news segments that we got. I guess just cover, tell you guys happenings on the Nintendo spectrum. But one of them is Rocket League developers confirm that not only is the game coming out to Switch, but it will feature 720p resolution, and most importantly, it'll be 60 frames per second, which is a must when it comes to online games, and especially one like that one. That's one of the games that I've been saying for a long time that Nintendo Switch needs to have, and I'm glad that we finally have it. And Nintendo Switch is going to reap the benefits. Players are going to reap the benefits, and that this is something that Dantes, I don't know why Sony's not doing it, but we're gonna have cross console in between the PC, Nintendo Switch, and the Xbox One when it comes to the online on Rocket League. What's up with that?
Nothing, because Sony being assholes. I don't know what to say. I mean, it's their decision. That's what happens when you're the market leader. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Sony doesn't give a flying fuck right now because they're number one. That's why I said on the our reactions video that competition is good. It's good that Microsoft is trying hard. It's good that Switch is coming and trying hard too, because that way Sony can also move their ass. Because last gen, Sony got their ass handed to them, and they came back strong this gen by trying to win the gamers back. But right now, Sony doesn't need to. I know that some news came that, like for Minecraft, to clarify, that all accounts, even the one from the Nintendo Switch, need to connect to Xbox Live to get to the Minecraft servers, right? I don't know if there's something going on there between Sony and Microsoft that's why Sony doesn't want to send their customer base through Xbox Live. Again, it's a competition. It is, even all developers could tell you, or the companies could tell you, no, we're not in competition. That's a bunch of bullshit. So that could be one of the reasons. I'm not defending it. I think there has to be a way that we have cross-platform play for all multi-platform games. I think Sony's on the wrong here, but we'll see. Again, if Sony starts losing ground in the generation, then they may switch, no pun intended, their stance with cross-platform playing. So
Yeah. So yeah, moving on. Yeah, next one is I mean along the same line. So Splatoon 2. When we had the global test fire, the game was running at 720p resolution. It was running at a steady 60 frames per second. Digital Foundry they did a video, and yeah, the 60 frames were excellent. No drops or anything at any moment. And I think it was in like an hour and a half that they have worth of gameplay footage, so which is great. But during the treehouse, they stated that the game is 1080p, and then the Splatoon producers confirm that Splatoon 2 will be 1080p when docked on the Switch, and it'll be 720p when undocked.
So that's good. I did want to add something. Frames is more important than resolution, right? This fucking battle between Sony and Microsoft, who gives you 4K, is pure bullshit in my opinion right now. I'll tell you right now, I also have a PC, a strong PC. I love playing games in 60 frames. I played Tomb Raider there, and it was great. It looks great at 60 frames. I was playing Alan Wake just a couple of months ago there, 60 frames. It was great. It looked great. Smoothness is what matters. That affects gameplay. And right now, Microsoft and Sony, instead of using the power of the newer consoles to get you to 60 frames, uh, they're trying to get 4K. It's a waste of time. And I don't know if you heard, Microsoft just there's a bunch of games now coming out like Assassin's Creed and Anthem and shit like that, and Destiny. They're gonna be 30 frames per second, right?
Yeah.
Just to get to 4K. What a waste of power. It's just, again, frames is what matters, and it just shows you Rocket League at least is making the right decision. I know the Switch is not strong. The Switch is not strong at all compared to the other consoles, but they said, look, we want 60. I'm sorry, we'll give you 720, which sucks. I know it sucks. It's 2017. We should be at least playing all systems in 1080. But if I had a choice, 60 frames, the Rocket League developers made the right call, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that's something that they should give us the option. Like, if you have the option in between doing it as 4K 30 frames per second or 1080p 60 frames per second, a lot of people would jump over to the 1080 60 frames, but they don't give you that option on your system. That should be something that for the PS4 Pro, for the Xbox X, that should be an option for us gamers.
Hey, fuck, I would pick 900p if they give me 60 frames. I said frames it matters more, pure and simple. Anyway, keep going, Caleones.
Okay, so yeah, another comment is Square Enix announces that Dragon Quest 11 has gone gold, and that they're going to be doing additional features and additional things for the 3DS version, and alongside the PS4 version as well. We're still waiting to hear about the Nintendo Switch version of Dragon Quest 11. Not sure if that's something where we're gonna have to wait until till next year. But one of the things that Nintendo has wanted to do it, I mean, to do mostly for with their first-party games and some other games, is that they want to release them worldwide at the same time, and maybe they're waiting for the Nintendo Switch version of Dragon Quest 11 to be available or to be translated into all the version or all the languages, so they can bring it over. But yeah, I mean it's nice that the game's selling great, and that they're supporting it that way.
So yeah, that's good news. Has gone gold, which means it's coming out soon in Japan. They haven't announced a Western release, which scares me sometimes. Square can be weird like that sometimes. So hopefully they'll get a Western release. But this game looks interesting. I'm not a huge fan of Dragon Quest, but this one looks more in line with it's still a turn-based RPG, but they could learn a lot from Persona. I'll give you an example. So this game could be good, and I know the Switch version probably is gonna be a port from the PS4 version. So and I think that would be a great option for Japan for sure, since they're mobile gamers. I know they're putting it on 3DS first, but hello, if you had a chance to play it on 3DS or on the Switch, which one you're gonna pick? Of course, the fucking Switch. So we'll see, but that's good news.
Yeah. So next one is that they have announced that the attach rate on the Nintendo Switch is 1.6 games per console, and this is at this point in
In
time it
Japan.
is high. Yeah, in Japan. And at this point in time, it is higher than the Wii U's attach rate with once 1.45 games per console. For me, even though those games or numbers, they're actually pretty good. I kind of expected it to be a little bit higher. I'm not sure if they're counting only like physical copies or if they're counting digital copies as well. But as far as what they compared to, and it sounds like a pretty good number. So another thing going for the Switch, even though people are still kind of struggling to find the system.
Yep, good numbers. I mean, it's Japan. They're not the main market. That's pure and simple. We have to accept
Mhm.
it. But still, it's still a good attach rate. I mean, it's a young
Yeah.
console, and the Switch does has a good attach rate. That's shown with Zelda Breath of the Wild. So
Okay, so going back to E3 and the trailers that they released for the game, Super Mario Odyssey was the second most viewed trailer during E3. It was second to Star Wars Battlefront 2, which I guess by yesterday it had one of the most views. But one thing you have to consider is EA's presentation was the one of the very first presentations. Nintendo's was the last, so they only had a couple of days, or the EA Battlefront trailer had a couple of days of advantage over Mario. But that's great news for Nintendo. It was reception was great. It won a couple of Game of Show awards, and the trailer showed us a couple of game mechanics that we didn't know of beforehand. And I mean, looking forward to possibly what I would consider maybe the best Mario game since Mario 64. What do you think of the trailer?
trailer's awesome. I am hype, and we'll talk more in depth once we go to the E3 portion on our topic of the show, of course. But
Hmm.
yes, it's hype. Looks great. Of course, I'm not gonna say, oh, it's gonna be the best Mario game until I play it. You always leave that judgment until you play it. And Mario Galaxy 2, to me, is near perfection. So we'll see. Excited about this game. It looks awesome.
Okay, so then we go to another of the surprises. I mean, it shouldn't have been a surprise because since the very beginning, Nintendo has been telling us Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is a 2017 game, but we're always thinking, oh, it's gonna get pushed back. It's not gonna be a 2017 title. It's gonna be in 2018. I mean, you even had a comment on the other video that you believe it probably would have benefited the game for being pushed back to 2018 instead of releasing the holiday season, but. Not only is the game going to come out in 2017, but it will be a worldwide launch. So all the continents will have the game at the same time: Japan, Europe, North America. And the reason is because they have been working in the localization of the game while they have been developing the game. And interestingly, they said the game started development in between 2014 and 2015 when they were finalizing development on Xenoblade Chronicles X. So it's not something that they just threw together and they wanted to have for launch. The game has, for the most part, been developed for 3 years or a little more. So excited. Well, I know you talked about the release, but you're excited for the game, aren't you?
Oh yeah, no, I'm really excited for the game, and I'll have more to say when we go to the E3 discussion. But uh, I still I still believe that he may slip to 2018. I don't know. I have a freaking sensation that he's gonna slip on 2018. But we'll see. We'll see. If it comes out in December, I'll still buy it. It's just I don't want it to be buried with all the games coming in the fall. So we'll see what happens.
Okay, and continuing with Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Tetsuya Takahashi shared a message with about Xenoblade Chronicles 2 with the fans during the Nintendo Treehouse. He had this to say about the game and the game story. So just reading it. A young adult story with a taste of boy meets girl. Lately, it feels like all I've been doing are games full of devastation, like where your hometown burns down at the start or the spaceship you're riding crashes. oh wait, that's all I ever do, and yeah, he's pretty much right. Sometimes you want to try something, try something different. I want to make something that people can look back on fondly one day as something that really shaped their lives, something like what I loved as a boy, like Oliver and Galaxy Express 999. That's why I started working on this game. I'll leave the stories about the Son of Old Men and Hot Sausage Guys to someone else and go ahead with this. Um, yeah, the article does have more about what he wanted to share with the fans, but I'm pretty excited about this. It's not something. I mean, he's kind of like shaking up his formula, and he's basically making this a big story-driven game. Not so much about just going to the land and discoveries, but I think it's going to be a pretty much. It's shaping up to be a pretty epic game.
Um, yeah, I mean, the one thing interesting on that article for sure is that he said that he'll have in this game he'll have both. He'll have exploration for the people who likes X, and he'll have a great story for people who likes the original, right? And people forget about the original. The original had big worlds, right? It was like big hubs as you go through
Mhm.
the game. It was linear in a sense, but it was a lot to explore in that area. So it was kind of open world in a sense, right? You can still go back to the areas and re-explore and finish whatever you're doing and or finish quests and stuff like that. So I like that formula. To me, that's the perfect formula because you can keep it, you can keep the story a little bit linear, but at the same time you have these big worlds that you can explore. So and maybe Zelda could take some inspiration out of this formula. So the next game has a little bit of better story because
Mm.
admittedly, I think Breath of the Wild did suffer in the story department by being open world. But again, I'm excited. That's why I put it in the docket for news. I don't wanted you to talk about it because anything Xenoblade Chronicles, I'm gonna put it in this podcast for sure.
Okay, yeah, and Takahashi kind of ended the message with kind of like a trolling quote saying, "Wait, will we even meet the release deadline?" So, I mean, I don't know, like just by that comment, I believe he will release it in 2017. It's kind of to assure fans that I mean he's been listening and like how everybody says no, not 2017, it'll be 2018. It's going to be pushed back. So it was a funny way of him to address that he's been listening to us and he truly cares. So
We'll see. We'll see.
well, so the Nintendo Switch generated a higher percentage of positive reactions than the Xbox One X. Um, I mean, this is probably pretty obvious when it comes only
So
38%. Well,
yeah, just to clarify, that was during the E3. The
yes.
Switch generated a more social media discussion than the Xbox One X. And the reason I wanted to talk about this one is because the Xbox is launching a new console, right? So you
Mhm.
expect the Xbox to be number one, honestly.
Yeah.
But Nintendo, because of their strong E3, generated buzz, and that's what Nintendo needs to learn: generate hype. And of course, we'll talk about it more in depth when we go to the topic to Onuma's discussion. But uh, good news for Nintendo.
Yeah.
Keep the hype, Nintendo. Keep it going.
Yeah, the percentages were 38% positive for the Xbox One X or Xbox, and 51% for the Nintendo. Base comments were positive. So it's like like the article I wrote. How can Nintendo win A3? It's just by giving us games, plain
So,
and simple.
article you wrote where?
What?
Article that you wrote for who?
ShigeruNews.com.
Ding. Okay, keep going.
Thank you. Moving along, we have the Nintendo of America president Reggie Fils-Aimé.
Feels me.
Fils-Aimé.
Feels me.
So yeah, he was
Your body's
just
ready.
talking about Metroid Prime 4 and why was it that they announced it earlier. I mean, he did say that he believes that having hands-on opportunity married to an announcement is really the best way to do it. And so let's take Super Mario Odyssey for example. We could have announced it months ago, but we weren't ready yet. The team wasn't ready. His body wasn't ready to show it and to let the customer really understand visually how the hat mechanic works, how the capture mechanic comes into play, and so that's how we think these through. For certain games, games that will be in development for, let's call it, a decent amount of time, like Metroid Prime 4. Also, given that it's franchise that we know people have been very eager to get news from, or news, yeah, some news, that's when fine, we'll share it. We'll share it early. Others, we want to hold it closer in the in and reveal it when the gameplay is going to be available. It literally is game by game, title by title, how we make the decision. So yeah, I mean, it makes perfect sense. Metro Prime 4 is just going to be a continuation of the first three games, so you can pretty much expect it to have the similar game aesthetic, similar gameplay, and to just follow the same trend. For something like Super Mario Odyssey, not only did they need the trailer, but they also needed the Nintendo Treehouse to explain how the game mechanic worked, especially when it comes to the co-op, which the game does feature co-op on it.
I hated that. I saw it. It looked like shit. I'm
Well, it's,
sorry. The
it's kind
hat,
of similar to
yeah,
Mario
the
Galaxy.
hat floating around, up top of Mario's head. It just looked weird. There's no way in hell I'm playing that co-op. Anyway, for the Metroid Prime, interesting. I know someone around in this podcast gives Sony a lot of shit for announcing games too early, but Nintendo does it also. So they just show a logo and everybody's losing their mind. I lost my mind, but at the same time, in our discussion or reactions video, I did say that was a thing on their conference. They should have showed something, right? At least when Sony showed The Last of Us 2, they showed a trailer to it, right? So again, I know Nintendo is learning to do hype. They're doing better. The hype would have been better if they would have shown something, but we'll leave that for the Onuma's discussion. But we'll see. Everybody's hype. I'm looking forward to that game. We'll see. We'll see when it comes out in the next 2 to 3 to 4 years, maybe. We'll see.
Okay, well, or next year. I don't know, but
Next year?
yeah.
Hell no.
Well, I mean, they still have a couple of months open to where they need to play certain games. So I don't know, like
They show a fucking logo, Caleones. It's not coming out anytime soon. Just to clarify, okay?
after what Nintendo did and the two big announcements, anything can happen. Actually, with a couple of other games from other companies that we weren't expecting, but yeah, anything can happen. But moving along, your favorite Sony developer was giving mad props to Super Mario Odyssey, calling the new Mario legit. They thanked Nintendo for the hookup, and it seems like they greatly enjoyed the game. That was on via Twitter that Neil Druckmann released and talked about it. So I'm glad. I like that. I like when developers and companies talk well about the other companies. I don't like the console wars, to be honest. So I appreciate the love from Naughty Dog.
Hey, that's good. The two best developers in the world, giving props to each other. So I mean, not the naughty gods. They know game. If they're saying Mario Odyssey is legit, that game is gonna be, I believe, could end up being the game of the year this year. If everything pans out as shown in the trailers, could be the game of the year for sure. And then Neil Druckmann saying that's coming from high praise. Again, I always believe the two best developers in the world is Nintendo, and then Naughty Dog. After that, a lot of people will throw in there Rockstar because of Grand Theft Auto, right, and Red Dead Redemption. Not my type of games. I'm just saying what I like. I believe the Naughty Gods and the Nindy Gods are the two top developers in the world. So
Yeah, and on behalf of Nintendo, thank you, Dantes.
no problem.
Well, Miyamoto, he talked about Pikmin 4, and unexpectedly he said we can confirm that Pikmin 4 is in development, but that is all we can confirm at present. He's pretty much been saying the same thing.
Hey, it's progressing.
Or, yeah,
I put it in there because it's funny, right? They can fucking show a JPEG of Metroid Prime, and that's the only announcement that they show, a fucking JPEG. But we can't say anything about Pikmin. No. Well, maybe it's in development. Maybe you never saw this, and then fucking Will Smith shows up and you didn't see this news and slaps you in the eyes, fucking Men in Black style. But I know it's coming. That one is gonna be for next year's E3. They better show that and Retro's new game because, of course, It was confirmed the Metroid Prime 4 is not being developed by Retro, but but you know that has to happen next year. That leaves some excitement for next year's E3 for sure.
Okay, so we have Unruly Heroes has been announced for the Nintendo Switch. It is developed by Magic Design Studios. It is a French developer, and they do have some of the ex Ubisoft developers. That's why when you look at the game, it does have like a certain aesthetic similarity to like Rayman Origins or Rayman Legends. The game itself looks great. I was, I guess the artwork, the animation looks. I'm pretty impressed by it, and I'm glad that yet another game coming over to the Switch. So,
Good support from the indies for sure. So again, it's always good to see more games coming to the Switch. So, uh,
but we are done with the news.
hell yeah, that was a lot of news. Caleones E3 week was huge. But now we have to move on to our favorite market. Of course, I'm talking about Chigero's mini market.
And soon to be Chijaru's supermarket sometime next year,
We'll see.
2018, coming
We'll decide.
2018.
We'll decide if we change the name of the segment. Just have to wait. We'll put it on a vote, and we'll see who wins. Anyway, it's only two people right now in forcing Unison. So if we ever get more people, then maybe.
Okay, so going with the first game is ACA's Neo Geo Sengoku, and Sengoku is players will fight against past gods. I'm thinking about the Nintendo gods and the Yubi gods. I'm sorry about that. That have been revived to the present age in a devastated Washington City. Players can use special characters who are confined after releasing them. Fighting by switching to armor-clad wolf, samurai, or ninja, according to the situation, will be your key to success. Game just follows the trend of more Neo Geo games releasing, same as the other games. It retails for $7.99, and then we have Mighty Gunboat Burst. It's gonna be 9.99 for the Switch, and it did release on this week as well. And rather than make a direct sequel to the bite size to the action game Mighty Gunvolt from 2014, Inti Creates has made the next installment in the Mighty Gunvolt series a brand new full-size game that features characters from multiple universes with Gunvolt, Ashura Striker, Gunvolt, and Beck. Mighty Number 9 taking the stage once again, but in a much deeper, a more expansive world and better game that differs greatly from the original in many ways. So yeah, I'm glad that Beckett is finally getting his due, and he's in a much better game than the one that he was featured originally. Is that all you're gonna say?
Hey,
Okay.
if you guys from Mighty Number 9 want to know how to do a 2D action platformer, go see Matterfall. Everybody was saying at E3 like, "Fuck, this should have been Mighty Number 9." But again, I feel bad because I love Mega Man X, and God, it just sucks that Mighty Number 9 became a huge piece of turd. Anyway, keep going, Carlos.
Such negativity. But yeah, we have another Neo Geo game, Shock Troopers Second Squad. Shock Troopers Second Squad is a military action game released by SNK in 1998. Four mercenaries have risen up to thwart the ambitions of a massive corporation. In addition to the main attack, weapon, and jump abilities, vehicles have also been added to the gameplay, which together with branching paths give the player the ultimate freedom in choosing how they will take on stages. Game is going to be $7.99. I guess I look forward to eventually Neo Geo doing some packages of games and just giving them together, maybe three, four, five together, and giving some additional discounts. But then again, I'm glad that they continue to push forward, and they're one of the best ones are at bringing their games over. So this is Nintendo Switch's unofficial virtual console, with Neo Geo games. Aside from Neo Geo, we have Cars 3, based on the Cars 3 movie, Driven to Win, and it retails for $59.99. And I'm trying to read the explanation on here. What you keep laughing on the background. I'm gonna ignore your screen. So Start your engines and gear up for the ultimate racing experience in Cars 3 Different to Win by inspired by Disney Pixar's film Cars 3. Play with over 20 customizable characters including Lightning McQueen, Jackson Storm, Cruz Ramirez, and the next generation of races in over 20 tracks set in iconic locations from the film such as Radiator Springs Train. They're talking about the ultimate racing experience. We have games like Mario Kart 8, we have games like Forza, like Gran Turismo, but this one has to be good. It is the ultimate racing experience.
It's right there with Neck, with the best platformer of all time. Now we have Cars 3 for the best racer of all time.
Okay, so let me go ahead and change it up and talk about a game that you're probably going to be, at least somewhat excited about. We have Shantae, Half Genie Hero. Game is going to be 1999, and Shantae embarks on her first full HD adventure. When a mysterious crime wave sweeps Sequin Line, it's up to half genie hero Shantae to save the day. Use Shantae's devastating hair whip action to send monsters flying, or belly dance to transform into a more powerful creature form. Shantae, um, that game you had mentioned it previously. Seems like you'll give it a thumbs up on it.
Yeah, of course. It looks good. Good action platformer. So it's good that it's coming to the Switch.
Yep. And then we have oh 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 oh
Okay, that's
oh.
enough. That's enough. Come on, start.
Reach beyond your limits and fight like never before. These elite fighting stars share one thing in common: extendable arms. So fight it as never before. Equip superpowered arms to create a slew of unprecedented combinations. Then use simple motion or button controls to dish out highly strategic beatdowns in one-on-one or even two-on-two battles. That's the big one for the month. That's the
Of
game of
course.
the month.
I guess that's gonna be our pick for this week. I guess. I did play Arms. It's okay.
It's
It's fun. I don't like the motion controls at all. It's better to play it with a normal controller. But I'm a cranky old dude. I like to play it one way, and that's it. So if I keep playing Arms, it's gonna be with a normal controller. But
yeah,
good
that's
game.
yeah
It's a
that
good game. It's a fun game.
and that's the problem that you have. Like after a certain age, you just like it one way, and you don't want to try new things.
I only do one position. You know that.
But yeah, I mean, if you're starting out with the game, the Pro Controller, it's a good. I mean, the game plays good with the Pro Controller, but once you're able to learn the motion controls and play with the motion controls, you actually have an advantage over the other players. I played the game during the test punch, and I mean, it gave me a sweat. I was sweating playing around with the motion controls. But yeah, I had great fun with my son. He had the pro controllers, I had the motion, and we were doing two-on-two battles with other people, or volleyball, basketball, and
Well,
it was great.
you were sweating because you just need to do some exercise. I'm just saying. So if,
Well,
if you
it,
walked more, just get out of the house a little bit more and just run, exercise. Probably you wouldn't sweat playing arms.
well, maybe we can do the next podcast with a selfie stick and just walking around so people can enjoy different backgrounds instead of just a static game.
Hey,
Like
we're gamers, right? We're basement dwellers. That's what I always heard, right? So I'm moving around. Uh,
okay, but yeah, Arms is the last game to announce. Game of the week, and one of the most important games for Nintendo in a long time. New IP, and it is. It has a chance to be as big as Splatoon. It had a great showing during the Treehouse. They had the tournament, and a lot of people cheered on. The commentators they did a great job, like describing the games, announcing it, and hyping it up. So I'm just
hopefully they did a better job than Microsoft with the commentator guy on during their press conference. What a maneuver! Oh my God! Anyway,
go.
so
Oh, well, yeah,
that's done. Let's go to our
it
next
is done.
segment, Caleones. Of course, it's Onuma's Nintendo discussion. We're basically Caleones and I go one on one to discuss the hot topic of the week. And of course, the hot topic of the week is E3. And I guess we'll start with what we were excited for, what we're not excited for. You think Nintendo won the conference, and at the same time, well, let's not say who won the conference because we'll do, just to give you guys a heads up, we'll do another E3 special of wrapping up all the conferences, and of course we'll talk about our predictions and who won the prediction battle. Anyway, with that being said, Caleones, what did you like about the conference, and what games has you the most excited for?
Okay, so before the conference started, I was afraid that they were going to pretty much show the same games that we already knew about. They made comments over and over again that we're just going to concentrate on talking about games that are coming out in 2017. So it sounded like they weren't going to talk about any other games coming out on 2018, or like you said 2025. Like you speculate that Metroid Prime 4 is going to come out, but they hyped the heck out of it with those reveals, and not only this one, but during the Treehouse as well, when they showed the Metroid Samus Returns game, which was another big surprise. So not only are we getting one Metroid Prime, we're getting two Metroid Prime game. So we're like on like a Twilight Zone alternate universe or something where we had those. And talking about the conferences outside of Nintendo, we had the video trailer for Beyond Good and Evil 2 as well. Like what is happening? What's going on?
So I guess it sounds like you're excited for Metroid Prime, of course. From the show, I have the list here.
Mhm.
Xenoblade Chronicles 2
Yeah.
looks great. I did see the Treehouse presentation for the game. I got some concerns, but I'll say it this way: uh, Xenoblade Chronicles wasn't. It's not a good game to watch other people play. You have to play it, right? It looks boring, honestly. And the first game looks boring. Also, if you're watching it someone else play, right? Once you start playing it, it's great. The combat did slow down a bit. Yeah, if you when you're coming from X and you watch the gameplay of this one, the combat really looks slow. They also changed the auto attack where now you have to stand still to attack. Where in the original Xenoblade Chronicles, you could move around and still attack in auto attack as long as you were close in range of the monster, right? Uh, so that is a concerning. It slows. It is slowed down compared to X. But at the same time, X did suffer from you lost the teamwork aspect from it. You could honestly build your character on X, and you could take on all the monsters by yourself. There was no need for the other characters. Where the original Xenoblade Chronicles, you needed the other characters. You needed to set up attacks like stagger and break, so you can topple the monster, right? And then at the same time, you had chain attacks where you could set up strategically how you're gonna set up all your arts as you went through and fight the monster, right?
Yeah.
X lost all that, and it was more of a single player experience in the sense that it was just you didn't at all, you did not depend on the other characters. Yeah, they were around, but they were just there like pew 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 while you did all the damage, right? So that is to me a thing on X gameplay, but X was fast paced and had a lot of depth in it. We'll see with this one. It seems like with the arts and how they're gonna handle the arts based on your blades, you could have a lot of customization and changing it during battle. So we'll see. I'm interested to play it. I'm just saying why I have some concerns about the game, but the game has me. I'm excited for the game. I'm hype. Kirby, good for Kirby. I don't give a fuck about Kirby, but if people like Kirby, that's great.
Well, I mean,
Uh,
if people like Kirby, it's one of the best-selling games on any system.
yeah,
It
sure.
all
It's a purple fucking balloon sucking people away. I mean, fuck. Just go to any bathroom, you bunch of glory holes if you want to get some
yeah,
sucky sucky.
that's something
Anyway,
you should be able to relate to. Come on.
next one, Pokemon Switch. I mean, just the guy sitting on the desk. Yeah, we have a Pokemon game, but it's not coming until the next 2 years or so. One and a half, two. I don't know,
Well,
maybe.
you have to understand. This is Game Freaks. This is the Pokemon company. This is how they do announcements. They just do it in their own way. They don't have a hyping bone in their body. So this is the most that we're
Caleones,
gonna get out of.
this looked like They just put it in the conference just to shut the fuck, make people shut the fuck up, right? Because everybody was pissed about the Pokemon the Nintendo Direct. That is the truth. That's what it looked like.
Well,
But
I'm just gonna go ahead and credit NeoGaf for being one of the the ones that made it possible because they're probably attached to their website. Every time that a new Nintendo Direct code appeared on it, they were jumping all over saying, "Oh, Pokemon Stars is going to be announced. Pokemon Stars is going to be announced." So they probably just got tired, or it could be just Reggie behind the other cameras with a gun aimed at him, saying, you got to say it, say it, say it."
again,
Uh,
two of the biggest surprise announcements for the conference was the Metroid Prime JPEG, and then the old dude sitting on behind his desk announcing Pokemon, which is fine. Again, Nintendo is learning to build hype. Now, Nintendo, next time, I'm just saying, just have a trailer, just a little, just give a little bit, just a tip, just a tip, just a little bit something. That's my ding on Nintendo's conference. If I take points down, it would be those two things. They could have done better with those announcements because there were big announcements, but
yeah.
they should have been like balls with the balls to the wall with those announcements, right? Show something, just a little bit more to get people hype. And then, of course, the other thing is that they show Samus return in the treehouse and not on the conference. That should have been on the conference. I would have, I don't know, I would have taken away the Rabbids Mario game off the conference if you needed time because Ubisoft already presented that.
Yeah, but they made it clear that the spotlight was just going to be for Nintendo Switch games and not 3DS games, so that's why they kept it off of it.
No, I know. I'm just saying, to me, it is a big game. I would have made it for the Switch. Honestly, Samus Return, I would have developed it for the Switch, but Nintendo is boneheaded, and they want to support the 3DS. Okay, fine, support the 3DS, but it's still a big announcement. Should have been on the spotlight. Created more hype. People would have been like, "Oh my God, yes, a Metroid Prime, a 2D Metroid Prime, yeah." That's what people wanted to see, right? Just saying. The other things, Fire Emblem Warriors. Yeah, if you
Yeah,
play
but
Hyrule
you,
Warriors, it's the same gameplay.
yeah,
Zelda
yeah,
expansion pack. Now, I'm interested in this. The Trials of the Sword seems like it's gonna be difficult as hell, and each room changes the situation of how you tackle that room. That's what it looks like, right? And that has me excited because if you play Wind Waker, when you go to the multi-room dungeon, it's just the same room over and over. You're just killing all the monsters in the room, right? And this time is more strategic because again, they're taking all your weapons away and then they're changing the scenarios in each room as you go through. Excited for
yeah,
this, and more so if they give me the fucking Master Sword without the need to recharge the Master Sword, right? So,
yeah.
uh,
But the other important thing about it is, it's not going to take up your same save. It's going to be a separate save, so you don't have to worry about
well, for
creating
the
a different
Master
account.
Quest, right?
Yep. Yes. So you don't have to worry about creating a separate account just so you can play through the game. You can do it on your same account and just now they'll keep it separate. So that's good of Nintendo that they're keeping it that way.
Yeah, I'm thinking of replaying the game in the Master Quest and do the Trials of the Sword in the Master, quest or whatever they called it. I forgot what the name they call it, but that could be a huge challenge, and that could
Yeah.
you know
I can see myself. I'll go straight to get the Master Sword after the 13 hearts. I'll pull it up, and then I'll turn around and put it back in and do the quest so I can charge it up.
Okay. Anyway,
Like,
I know you want to pull it out and pull it back in all the time. Anyway, the new Rabbits game, like I said, I would have taken this game out. Ubisoft already showed it. When they showed it, I was like, okay, Ubisoft already showed this. Should not have been in the conference.
but you got to be honest. As much hate as the game got when they said Mario and Rabbids together, it looks pretty awesome. The graphics look great.
Wait and see.
It's a different kind of game. It takes after XCOM when it comes to this strategic elements. But I'm just glad that one, it's a completely different game that we played before on Mario, and two, it's not made by Nintendo, which means that if Nintendo had a team, they would have been busy on this one. But now that team is free to be working on a separate game. So we get two games instead of just one. Uh,
Yeah. I'll buy it. again, like I said, I'll wait for the reviews, but I'll buy it. Seems interesting enough, but nothing to me excited about. Uh, again, Rocket League. That's a good third-party game. It's coming over.
Yeah,
It's a
and I keep
perfect. It's a perfect
been
scenario.
saying it.
Yeah, perfect scenario for the Switch. You got also close, like you said, cross-platform play. So it means that it's always going to be busy, right? Because I think that's the part that people forget. Why cross-platform play matters. And let me explain this here. Is a lot of time console multiplayer games. After 2 months, there's no one there. Just like fucking, you can see the what's it called that in the Wild Wild West, the big patch of grass, just flowing around in the lobby because there's no one. There's no one. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
There's no one in the lobbies. To me, what cross-platform play fixes is that you always gonna find people to play in the game, and it will keep the longevity of those multi-platform games longer. It's not for me. It's not about I get a chance to play with other people on other consoles, right?
yeah.
It's
You
more
just
about keeping the
yeah, you
longevity of
just have people.
multi-platform games, right? Give you an example, Evolve. That game came maybe the first month everybody was in there. After that, dead, right? And if you see even the people who play Rocket League on PlayStation, the most people that they play with is the PC gamers because there's cross platform play there between PC and PlayStation. So you see that's why you see those weird names on when you play Rocket League. So that's what I'm saying that cross-platform play. What matters is, and Sony, listen to me, is that you're gonna give longevity to online multiplayer games. You're gonna get more sales from software because then people are gonna buy the game. Because some people probably won't buy a game. Let's say, give you an example, Destiny, right? Destiny 1. Who's gonna buy Destiny 1 right now on PlayStation 4, knowing that in a couple of months, Destiny 2 is coming? No one's gonna be in the lobby. No one's gonna give a flying fuck, right? Again, that's where the PC community is so important because they keep games alive with mods and shit like that. So it's just saying, just listen to that, Sony. At least think about it. Maybe find a way. I know you may not want to go through Microsoft servers. I understand that. But there has to be another way. And Rocket
Yeah,
League developer says that they have a solution. Maybe you should talk to them. But
yeah,
anyway,
and
I'm not a developer.
I mean, piggybacking on that one, yes, Sony might not want to be, going the Xbox Live route to connect over to Microsoft, but that's not an excuse for Rocket League. Yeah, Rocket League doesn't use that to connect to the game and play. But yeah, the biggest problem for Sony is going to
Agreed.
be, is like creating parity. So okay, so you have these games and you have these consoles that you play the game together. So now you have Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, and PC, and all of them, the online components and everything is together. So you want to have parity for those. You want to make sure that you update them and that all of them get updated at the same time because they're all going to be connected. So now Sony's going to get pushed to the side, and this is probably going to happen first, or maybe happening with Minecraft, which is we just want to make sure that these gets the updates first and foremost because they're all connected, and we'll leave the updates for the Sony console later on. So not only are they going to lose updates, they're going to lose. I mean, they're just going to end up getting backtrack on the game. They're going to be late to content, or they may not receive it at all. So they have to jump in. They have to be on board.
Hey, if want companies to change, be vocal. Don't be a fanboy. Complain. There's like I can give you one from Nintendo. Like fuck Nintendo. Where the hell is cloud saving? Where the hell is cloud saving? That is fucked up, Nintendo. If I drop my Switch, I lost my 200-hour Zelda Breath of the Wild save file. If my Switch gets damaged, that is Nintendo. You need to fix this shit. We have to be vocal for companies to to have these mistakes. They need to fix it. And Sony, you need to allow cross-platform play. Right now, you're looking like the asshole. It's a PR nightmare. And then what Jim Ryan said, "Oh, we do this for the kids."
For the
I started
kids.
laughing my ass off. Like, who the fuck you think you are? You think you're Nintendo now? I don't remember a time where you care about the kids. Leave
Yeah,
that for Nintendo,
when it
okay?
when it comes to the point where Nintendo is doing it, but you're not, then something's wrong with you.
No, that's what I'm saying. And I know Nintendo makes sense for Nintendo. I mean, if they even made a partnership with Microsoft, to give you an example for online infrastructure, I understand. Nintendo needs a lot of help in the online gaming for sure. So, you know, that's fine. But you're looking bad, Sony, right now. And that coming, the Jim Ryan, shit, there's some people that you need to make, don't do interviews. Like, what's that guy from Xbox? Greenwell, right? Whatever his name is.
The
Anyway,
Xbox guy.
no, not Phil, the other one, Greenwell, whatever his name is. Make him shut the fuck up. Oh God! Every time Xbox was number one on something, he's like, "Oh my God, we're number one. We had 20,000 hours of engagement between players. We shot 1,000 bullets in Call of Duty and all that bullshit, right?" And this Jim Ryan guy from Sony, every time he opens his mouth, it's like, "Fuck, shut the fuck up. Really, shut the fuck up, man."
Yeah,
And
but
when he said
yeah,
about the this is for the kids, why we don't do it, we're concerned about the kids. I was like, oh, that was the shittiest excuse of all from all time.
but
That was
this
bad.
but this has me excited, the cross console play, because one of the reasons why Final Fantasy 14 is hasn't come over to the Xbox One is because of the same complaint, which is Xbox One has the Xbox Live, and they have their own way of connecting over to the Sony and PC. Which, right now, Sony and PC, they have the cross console play when it comes to Fantasy 14. But a couple of months ago, Square Enix, they mentioned that they were looking to see how they could bring Final Fantasy 14 to the Xbox One and to the Nintendo Switch. With all, I mean, if they already made deals like those for Rocket League and for Minecraft, they could make another one for Final Fantasy 14. Have the two consoles connect together, and then you can create separate servers where they're going to be connecting to PC players as well. So now you have separate servers where you have PC, Xbox One, Switch for Final Fantasy 14. And I think that'll make it possible for them to bring the game over. Um, from another side, I probably shouldn't be looking forward to the game because I spend so many hours. I have a character that I haven't played in over like 2 years because I almost lost my life to because I play the game so much. But this is a good
That's why I
workaround
hate
for,
MMOs.
yeah. I mean, you have like two separate lives, and when you have a family, that's doesn't work out. But yeah, this is how they're going to be able to get those games to the Xbox and the Switch. I
Well,
think it's going to be great.
to close this subject of specifically because we're supposed to talk about E3, but we're talking more about cross-platform play. But it's good that we're saying it, so maybe Sony will listen. And again, like I said, you have to complain about these companies, but it just shows you how the shoe turns. Like years ago, when Sony was losing, they were more than willing to do cross platform play with Microsoft, and Microsoft at that time said no. That's why, give you an example, Final Fantasy 14 did not come to Microsoft, but now Microsoft is losing, so they're like all over. Yeah, let's do it. Woo! So this is where I'm saying competition is good for the
Mm,
industry. You have to
yeah.
have all these console manufacturers fighting.
Yep.
Anyway, going back to E3, right? And then to close it for sure, Mario Odyssey. Fuck, this game looks good. I mean, I watched
Game of show. Game of show.
the trailer and I thought, wow, looks good. But when I watched the Treehouse, then I said, okay, this game and I'm no, to me this would be a great year. Like I said, if Xenoblade comes out, if Odyssey kicks ass, because how it looks should be at least a 93 or more in Metacritic, and then you have Breath of the Wild, who is on whatever 95, 96, whatever it is right now in Metacritic. Uh,
Where's Splatoon 2? Come on, man. Give some love.
anyway, I'm not bringing that shit up. If you have those three games, and then Xenoblade Chronicles rates high, right? I would say Xenoblade Chronicles not for everyone. 85, 86 on Metacritic. That's still a strong score in my opinion. This to me, I would put that this is the Nintendo's greatest year in gaming for their first party games. What I'm saying, right? Because I don't remember ever having a Zelda and a Mario in the first same year, right? And then they both turning out to be so good. Again, if Mario Galaxy, sorry, Mario Odyssey pans out, fuck, I'm hyped. The Switch has given consumers great software for the first year. Now the question would be, Nintendo tends to hide, and that's not the right term. I'm sorry. Nintendo tend to have those cycles when they throw you a lot of software, and then they like don't do anything for you know a year or two, and you don't hear anything about what they're doing and shit like that. I'm hoping that they have a steady plan of the Switch, and they have other things coming along that shows that catalog, you know, growing in 2018 because 2017 has been a good year. Again, if Mario Odyssey comes out as I see it coming out, which should be a great game, NCAA Chronicles. But to me, those are the games that I'm excited for. Xenoblade Chronicles, Mario Odyssey, the Zelda expansion pack look good. We'll see where that goes. Overall, I thought the conference was good. Like I said, I dinged them for the Metroid Prime JPEG and the old dude behind the desk, but they're learning. They're creating some hype, which is good. That's what Nintendo needs. And they always struggle with creating hype. But admittedly, and maybe we'll say who wins E3 for our E3 show special. But overall, this E3 was a little bit weak overall, right? They had some great games. It was just that the great games that they had was all stuff that we already knew about, right? There was nothing that would be, wow, my God, that came out of left field. But, I mean, to me, the two biggest surprises was, of course, Metroid Prime 4 and Shadows of the Colossus. That's, to me, is the two biggest surprises on E3. And, of course, the Xbox launch time exclusive. They know how to come up with some funny terms, that's for sure. But we'll talk about it more in depth. Anything you wanted to add about Nintendo, how they did overall in E3?
Yeah. Even though we knew that Mario, Super Mario Odyssey was going to be the last game to be shown on during the spotlight, it still blew everybody away. Like the first thing you see is the dinosaur, so you're like, okay, so what kind of game is this? Until you see the hat on the dinosaur, you're like, okay,
Turok.
so yeah, so what's going on? I mean, when I was watching, I was like, okay, so what is this? Is it like a Mario Hunter? I mean, Mario Hunter, like a Monster Hunter game or Mario Hunter game? Just pretty
Hey,
fitting, I guess.
that's the next crossover. Monster
Yeah.
Hunter with Mario, the Mario Hunter.
Well, I mean, you saw the cars on, from Rocket League with the Mario hat on them. So yeah, I mean, they can do that. But yeah, I mean, the game impressed me on the trailer, and then amazed me during the Treehouse. So I watched all 3 days of the Treehouse, all the streams, and they did play it. First doing, yeah, like how you use the hat, then how you do the co-op later on, which you're not too fond of that one, but it's if it is like it looks, it like I said, it's going to be the best Mario game since Mario 64, and I'm just glad that they're going to those big adventures for Mario. I'm okay with the 3D worlds. It's a great party game. I played it with my kids, and it's great. We had a lot of fun, a lot of laughs. But the big adventures for Mario, that's something that was missing, and I'm glad that it's back. It's been a while. So.
Yep, I agree. Again, we'll talk about our game of the show on our E3 special. But yeah, I'm with you. Mario Odyssey look awesome. They again, Nintendo's top developers. They're one of the best developers in the world. There's no denying that. I know people say, oh, they only make kiddie games, but those games are fucking fun. If you think that, you're a fucktard. I mean, they look great, and Mario Galaxy 2 show you that. Uh, and trust me, at one time, it was cool to hate on Nintendo. Like when I got in college, it was all PlayStation, right? Uh, but you know what? I kept buying the Nintendo consoles. You know why? Because even though I only bought it for maybe a couple of games, those couple of games are still better than 90%, and I'm exaggerating, of the catalog sometimes in a console, right? And I'm talking about when you're number one in the console department, you tend to get a lot of shovelware and bullshit like that, right? So I'm just saying, Nintendo don't knows how to deliver, and that's a fact. But anyway, that was great. E3, Nintendo did deliver to me. They built some hype, and I think Nintendo did a great job after the shitty
Yeah,
ass conferences from Microsoft and Sony. But we'll
yeah,
we'll
they
talk
did.
about more in depth on that for sure.
Yeah, it was 25 minutes of gloriousness.
Glorious. Anyway, uh, thank you everybody for joining us at the Get In and Get Out Nintendo podcast, episode 6, right here at the Forcing Unison channel. Please remember to subscribe, like, and comment so you can make these two crazy motherfuckers happy. Of course, remember to download this podcast at SoundCloud. Someday, maybe iTunes too. We're working on it. It's just about budget constraints. Anyway, also remember to go to our Facebook page where I will be posting this week the new glitch of the week, and we always post some funny glitches. So go down to the Forcing Unison Facebook page so you can enjoy them. And finally, and Dantes means finally, please go to my boy Caleones at chiguerosnews.com and give him some love with some clicks. With all that being said, thank you guys for joining us again. Long live Nintendo. See you guys. Bye.
Have a great one, everyone.